Hey guys, making a quick video to go over a new build archetype I've been messing around with, which is minion poison. First, let me just say that I first tried this with soul rest, and that is a terrible idea. Did not work out. I was mainly inspired to try this with interaction on the POE wiki that says that the Herald of Purity buff effect of 100% increased damage. Let me check real fast. Yeah, the minions deal 100% more damage would apply to Soul Rest, which is what I thought, and I thought this would be a crazy build if you'd be able to link this with the Soul Rest staff and be able to scale both your Herald of Purity minions and the Soul Rest Phantasm minions with the same links. That's what I initially tried. Turns out that's not how it works. It's been a huge misconception and confusion for the past year now, just years, just because of bad wording and vague mechanics. I think someone else did a recent video on regarding this a similar topic as well, about wonky phantasm support skill interactions. And yeah, I'm just another victim of that. But I really try to make it work, but it was just trying to be meh. Clear was okay, and the single target was okay as well. And you can't really scale it because you're limited to a staff unique, meaning no shields, no busted wand you could get. So it's kind of bad. So after that, I had another idea for poison minions, just because the damage seemed promising. Just because with such a shitty build, it was still able to do T16 maps just fine. I spent like maybe 1 or 2 divines on that build, so I thought maybe there was a possibility of it making it work out. So what I try to transition to is, as you can see probably with all these fucking minions coming around, walking around, making a commotion, I tried going for Carrion Golem plus Zombie poison. So in case you didn't know, poison scales off of 30% of the physical and chaos damage that is applied within, I believe, a 2-second window, and this can be extended with poison duration. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just trying to quote the wiki off the top of my head. Anyways, the number one way to stack poisons is with as many poison hits as possible. Unlike Ignite, which is trying to get that biggest hit to get that giant 1 instance of Ignite damage. Poison is pretty much the opposite of that. So you really want a lot, if you're going to do the poison route for minions, you really want really fast attacks and ideally a lot of minions to apply it as well, which is why I initially tried Soul Rest plus Herald of Purity, because there was a lot of minions to apply the poison stacks. But like I said, it didn't scale too well, so I tried this. And this definitely has a lot more promise. And just to get the cons out of the way first, the clear is pretty meh. And there's not a lot of regen built into this build that I currently have set up. But other than that, everything else is great. Single target is great. Quality of life is great. You don't have to press a lot of buttons. Yeah, but I'll get more into that in a moment. So basically, the main premise of this build is having let's find the gem. The Carrion Golem and the Raised Zombie in the same 5-link. Well, but if you put it in the Covenant, it's actually a 6-link for both of them in one equipment slot, which is really good. Because now you have 2 really strong minions that really benefit from the same exact support gems, so it worked perfectly, applying poisons. But the main, I think, biggest drawback, at least for this patch with minions, is that you have to spend a lot of affixes and passives just to have these minions survive. Because I initially tried not really specking much into it, just, whatever you find on the tree, and not really specking into it on, for example, my auras, and it was a terrible experience because my zombies would keep dying. Quick side note, I'm currently using Elemancer, Forbidden Flesh and Forbidden Flame. This is giving me an extra golem, plus your golems are immune to elemental damage, which is really good for making the golems tanky, but does nothing for the zombie minions. And those things were dying constantly, so I'd have to constantly resummon them. Was not a good experience. So you'd have to invest a lot into affixes and passives, like I said earlier, just to have it survive. And that kind of dampens the damage. But like I said, you have 2 minions with full 6 links applying poison. So the damage sacrifice for trying to spec into these defensive passives isn't that bad, but you really cannot underestimate it when doing minions. Which is kind of a bummer, because previously I was doing a Death Wish build, which is my previous video, and you didn't really have to care about that. This time, it's something that's actively in your memory. You're actively glancing at your Animate Guardian just to make sure it's not dying. So, minion survivability does not feel good. Fortunately, since basically this patch, the minion poison handicap was removed, poison damage on minions is greatly buffed, so it kind of balances it out. Yeah, you gotta spec into minion defense, but minion poison damage was greatly buffed this patch, so it's a give or take. So let's see what else is in this build. Oh yeah, I'm using United in Dream, which is pretty much the only unique besides kind of the Darkness Enthroned that you kind of need, and it's not really even a need because you have to get 100% chance of poison, right? That's kind of obvious to apply poisons, but easiest way is to get it on this plus a Stygian Vise. This way you don't have to have the chance to poison support gem, allowing you to put in let's see what I put in instead. In this case I put a Predator just because instead of a minion damage, just because having the focus on a single target is fucking huge. Like, your damage for single target is crazy. So this is why I put it in. But yeah, you could instead of using a chance to poison here to get the 100% with along with this, I instead opted to go for a Darkness Enthroned with the chance to poisons on the Abyssal Jewels, which I think the rough calculation is like 50%. I think mines are kind of shitty rolled, so it's like 47 or whatever. Anyways, it's still enough to overcap it. So this plus this chance to poisons is enough. Yeah, so that covers the chance to poison on the minions to 100%. And then here, by the way, just because I'm on these sockets right here, I'm currently running a Despair plus Temporal Chains on a Blasphemy as an aura, just to proc the Profane Bloom. I don't know if I mentioned it. I'm on a Cultist. For probably self-explanatory reasons, the opportunity, the Necromancer is no longer that good, so the opportunity cost of going something else for being minions isn't that big. And you get really good quality of life here, like Hexproof, Explosions, which greatly helps with the clear, because for poisons, the damage isn't front-loaded, it applies in a lot of stacks. It's a ramping kind of build, so it's not front-loaded. So this helps with the clear, because clear with poison minions, with just the poison minions and no other clearing mechanic like explosions or whatnot, or proliferation, feels bad. So this Profane Bloom, I feel, is totally worth going occultist alone. But of course, you get the other great stuff like minus chaos res nearby, and then chance wither effect, chaos resistance. Yeah, just all around great. And then curse effects. So yeah, that's why we're able to use Despair and the Pearl Chains on an aura. And it just feels great, because it's also a pretty consistent defense mechanic as well, because Temporal Chains slows the action speed down of all nearby enemies, so it kind of technically counts, quote-unquote, as a defense layer as well. But yeah, it's really kind of the only way to scale the poison damage itself that the minions apply, just because a lot of the poison mods only apply to you. So this poison thing that I'm about to reroll in a second, that doesn't apply to the minions. So the only real way for you yourself to affect it is, besides, minion damage and added fizz plus chaos damage, it's really just these auras right here, which is Despair and temporal chains. So that's why I have that. And then as my other auras, well, we're going to continue that aura topic, is Period of Elements, which is just to help fix resists, make it a lot easier, plus ailment immunity. I thought this is just, it is just too good to pass up, just because nowadays, if you do this, it frees up affixes on your other gear for minion defenses and minion damage. So like, as you can see here, this I bought for like 3 divine. I think it's completely worth it. Great life roll, maximum life, attack speed, damage, open prefix. But yeah, this was 3 divines. But you need really that base type for the reduced damage because, yeah, minion tankiness should be at the top of your mind, unfortunately, this patch. So that's why I opted for this ring. But yeah, but with the help of Period of Elements, it lets you do this. To have a lot of your gear not have a lot of resists, plus ailment immunity as well. So pretty necessary in my opinion to have this aura. And then let's see, I have Grace because I'm actually going on the left side of the or the right side of the tree, sorry, for suppression. So we're going kind of evasion with Ghost Dance. We have a decent energy shield. So yeah, so we're going evasions plus spell suppression. We're currently capped on spell suppression, which is awesome. That my previous build didn't have any suppression, which made it the variance was high. Sometimes you feel super tanky, the other times you wouldn't. But this time I have 100% suppression. Feels so much better, man. Look at my XP bar. It's not empty. But yeah, those are my auras, plus these are auras as well, so that preserves all of it right here. So yeah, to fit all those auras, I needed an Enlightened 4, and we got Charisma, and then this Grace, Reservation Efficiency, so we made it work. Oh yeah, and then also importantly, we used Envy as well. Not the Envy on this amulet, but actually the Envy that's granted by the weapon, which is a great DPS bonus. But this gives you, Envy has no reservations, so here you have 2 Envies. Just make sure you're reserving the right one. There's the weaker one the amulet gives and the stronger one that weapon gives, but you get no reservation on either of them. I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive they don't stack, so you know, there's no point in reserving the other one as well. But if I'm wrong, please let me know, because that'd be fucking insane. And then reservation efficiency on my helmet as well. Also pretty important is to make sure on your helmet you have a open prefix for the maximum number of zombies. Really good crafted modifier on there. And also minion gems +2 on my helmet and my shield. Pretty important for damage, but also, like I said, I keep reiterating, minion defenses, they have increased life as well, because God, I'm reiterating it a lot because minion defenses is such a pain in the ass to always be having in the forefront of your brain, building out something. Like, you have to get this as well, or they're just going to be significantly less tanky. So really, I feel like in my head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just feels bad having to spec that, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, +2, +1 here, Kodo +3, so really decent. But really nothing special about these. Let's see, this one just life, resist, suppress, and yeah. So, and then there's the I think I already mentioned this already, the Darkness Enthroned, to help you with the chance to poison, getting a cap on your minions. So I think what's next is the passive tree. So we go over here for the minion damage, minion nodes, and minion life nodes. Sorry, get some life here. Get obviously the mandatory efficiency nodes here, and then we come back up here for the Specters, and then we anoint this just because it's saving 1, 2, 3, 4 passives, which is pretty good. And these things are kind of useless on the way up, so I thought that was a good anoint, because we already have Charisma allocated over here because we packed in this area anyways. So that's why we were able to get Corruption instead of the Charisma anoint that almost every build has. And then here, I'm mainly getting this large cluster jewel just so I can get an extra jewel slot, because we are kind of sparse on that. because we are running Anima Stone plus the 3 Primordial Jewels to get that extra Golem, plus a Forbidden Flesh and Forbidden Flame to get the additional Golem, and your Golem is immune to damage, or elemental damage, sorry. Which is like a total of 6 on here. And then we also have a 7th over here, which is the hope to get here, the Golems. And just to get some life, and then I kind of needed to anoint this, or not anoint, but spec into this one over here, just to help me with my mana regen problems, but it's been not an issue with this single one, so I feel like it's worth. Let's see. But yeah, that's why we're going over here. Then we go down here. I mentioned previously for the block chance, pretty mandatory IMO, unless you can somehow get more minion survivability somewhere else. I had to get it. Maybe you figured out a better way, because I'm already spec as much as I can into it, man. This is already enough. Both of my rings are for it. I got like 12 passive nodes on here for it, so yeah, it is what it is. Path down there, and then up here, suppress, max life, energy shield, pretty decent. Go down here, more spell suppress. I can't wait to level up so I can finally get this prevent 3% extra. Don't have it yet, but make sure to get that if you are higher level than me. Then more evasion, life, jewel socket. Yeah, that is the passive tree. But all in all, what I would say is this was a about 20 divine budget. Most of it was just with the Elemancer here. These were like 12C, or sorry, 12 divine in total for these. So that's the majority of what the build is. Everything else is kind of okay. This was like a 3 divine thing. This unique was like a chaos, not a chaos. 10 chaos. Oh yeah, this was 3 divines, but yeah, everything else is kind of just basic gear. I had this from the previous build. This was just okay. I think I bought this for like 80C. Not an expensive build. Yeah. But yeah, enough of that. I think that covers most of it. If you have any questions, just leave a comment. You know how it works. Let's see if I can run a quick one. I'll run one of these just to show you both mapping and bossing, because I'm quite confident in how it bosses, or the damage. Chance to avoid poison, we don't like that. Literally anything else would be fine. Yeah, whatever. One here. Oh, actually, before I do that, Specters real fast. Completely forgot about that. Specters I'm running is the monkey, the frenzy charge monkey, the wild bristol matron, I believe. That one is kind of a defense thing where he does a roar, which reduces surrounding action speed by a lot. And pale seraphim, it does like a debuff on enemies to increase the damage that they take, so damage over time they take, so really good. And then we also link that with a divergent minion speed for increased cooldown reduction on the gem quality, which helps with the uptime. So kind of a secret tech there. Animate Garden, I didn't spend anything on it really, just a Kingmaker. The weapon is like a vulnerability on hit, or the gloves are a vulnerability on hit. And the boots, that's a unique boot that adds an additional curse. So we're technically having 3 curses on things if the Animate Garden actually gets around to attacking it. Let's see. Yeah, not basic Animate Garden, nothing special going on there. But yeah, let's finally get to the showcase. Let's see what map this is. Orchard. Yeah. So don't really do anything. You cast your Withering Step every now and then. Let me get this fast. Great thing about minion builds, you can just let them do their thing. Yeah, there's not a lot of buttons to press on this. Make sure you do the offering every now and then. Using bone offering just because survivability. I think honestly I'm tanky enough right now to go with a what is it? The flesh offering, which is the attack speed one, the movement speed. At this point, I'm not really that worried anymore. Let's see.
This way, exile. We need not the fruit.
Yeah, but tanky build, confident about the damage. These things are no longer anything I am fearing. But let's see, there's something here. Yep. awesome drops there. Really hyped to see 15 jewels drop that I would have to identify and look through for a possibility of a few chaos profit. Really. Let's see. Yellow, by the way, are the most expensive, in case you guys didn't know when you guys are doing harvest, so always prioritize those. On my passive, I don't know if you guys are wondering about my Atlas passive tree. I'm currently spec'd into Blight, just because I'm doing it for achievements right now. Was that a chaos dot?
Put down this board.
I'm gonna just let the clearing do the talking for now, so I can actually focus on mapping a little bit. Yellow again. Nice. So yeah, every now and then, when your withering step is up, just press it if there's difficult mobs coming up. It kind of increases your GPS by like a lot, like 30%. So make sure you want to. You don't really need it most of the time, but sometimes when there's like some yellow mobs, just right click. That's all you gotta do. Make sure you're near it. That's really it. Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, yeah, I'll skip that Blight for now, just because I'm gonna make this a quick showcase. Blight takes way too fucking long, and I was already in that harvest. But yeah, right now, just because I'm spec'd into Blight, my mapping times are a lot higher, just sitting in the fucking map doing mechanics, but that's what it is. I think I've had enough of this league. This build is probably what I'm gonna stay on. It feels good. It's tanky, and clearing, as you can see, it's decent. It's not very involved, so that's always nice. That's why I like minion builds, because they're not very involved, but they're mechanically intensive. Like, there's a lot of mechanics you have to balance out and consider to make these a functional build, which is what I like. But the ending result is always a pretty brain-dead game style. And here's a single target. So once it does that, do signal prey, and you kind of just sit around. There it goes. And oh yeah, like I mentioned, I think I mentioned earlier, one of the downsides, you can see here, no regen. There is like 0 regen happening in this build. But usually it doesn't matter because it usually doesn't go past your energy shield, so you regen it back with ghost dance and whatnot. But sometimes it does, and it fucking sucks. So you gotta help that health potion. But here, let's go up here. Once again, showcase the bossing damage.
Welcome.
And all you really need to do,
Time has
make sure your
no
blessings up,
meaning
or
here.
yeah, one of your offerings is up.
Pain will be
Do a
endless.
signal prey, and yeah, that's it.
Distasteful!
Tank that, stand here, that's it. Really tanky build, and that's poison only gets stronger as it ramps up too, so it gets even higher, like the more damage it does. And that's one of the benefits, and also one of the downsides. It's great single target. If you let those minions just start attacking it, they just you see the HP bar just fucking slide down super fast, and it only gets faster. But during clear, it's not front loaded, so sometimes the monsters don't just immediately pop. So that's one of the downsides. But yeah, great build. I think if you have like 20 divines and want to do a minion build with kind of a new mechanic, just because it was greatly buffed, I'd recommend it. Few improvements you can. Let's go back to the hideout. Few improvements you can probably do is have an anoint, and then if you have the anoint, you probably have enough to reserve. Let's see, probably enough to reserve Defiance Banner or Flesh and Stone. Probably not Flesh and Stone. You'd probably have to get your Abyss Jewels to have some corrupted minion mana efficiency modifiers on there, but you can definitely squeeze in a Defiance banner if you get the Anoint for that. But other than that, yeah, decent build, great single target, okay clear, decently tanky, on a 20 Divine budget. I would recommend. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Peace.